What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. Now, you guys are wondering, what's going on? There aren't any more archetypes to talk about in the Hidden Arsenal series. That is true, there aren't any more archetypes to talk about, but there are still the Hidden Arsenal sets to talk about, and not only that, but this first one, Hidden Arsenal 1, took place around the time of Edison Format. Now, for those who have never heard of Edison Format, it is actually considered to be the second most iconic format in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh. No pun intended. No pun intended. No copyrights. Obviously, with SEMO, having the history of Yu-Gi-Oh. No copyrights here. You guys know how this works. But shout out to SEMO. With that series, they're actually doing a video today, so make sure you guys watch it if you haven't. but Edison Format got what ended up getting its name from an SJC Shonen Jump Championship that took place in Edison, New Jersey, which took place on the weekend of April 24th, 2010. And it's interesting because when you think about Edison Format, there were so many sets that came out right before and during Edison Format, and I actually have some of them, some of the sets that were released in my notes here. So there was Ancient Prophecy that came out. There was the Warrior Strike structure deck. There was also Hidden Arsenal 1, Stardust Overdrive. There was Turbo Pack 2. There was the Twilight Edition, which if you guys didn't know, I believe it featured a promo of Light and Darkness Dragon, and I believe 2 packs of Dark Revelation 4, if I remember correctly. Absolute Power Force, Machina Mayhem Structure, Duelist Pack Kaiba, the Shining Darkness. All those sets came during and before Edison Format, and it's interesting because SJC Edison had the highest attendance ever of 2,175 participants, and this was the last SJC before we had what we now know as YCS, Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series. And it's interesting because Edison Format, there were so many different decks that were around during this time. You had decks like Monster Mash, which used up cards like Battle Fader, Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind, Caius the Shadow Monarch, Dark Arm Dragon, which was limited to 1 at the time, if my memory serves correctly. Dark Simorg, Rallis the Starbird, Gores the Emissary of Darkness. Also to Rise of the Storm Monarch, Sangan, Tragoedia, which was actually a very intriguing card, mind you. Cards like Cyber Dragon, DD Crow, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, Cold Wave, which was still legal at the time. And then just a bunch of Blackwing cards, Blackwing, Armwing, Armor Master, Goyo Guardian, Stardust Dragon, Ancient Fairy Dragon. Those were some of the cards in a Monster Mash deck. Now, and then of course you had Overdrive Teleporter, which was basically like a psychic-based deck, which would use up... Whoa. Sorry guys, my desk moved a second. Which used up cards like Gore, Cyber Dragon, Gravekeeper Spy, Psychic Commander, just to name a few. Emergency Teleport, which I believe which ended up being limited to 1 because of the fact that we had just left Teledeath format, which was a very scary format. Mirror Force, Trap Dust Shoot, which was still legal. Arcanine Magician, Armory Arm, and then of course you had Dark Gaia Turbo, which was basically a sort of like a dark based deck that used cards like Demise, King of Armageddon, the Masked Beast, and the extra deck. Your sole focus was summoning the evil hero Gaia, basically, which was a very broken deck, using up cards like and also having that was just in the main. Actually, it would even also use Gaia Plate, the Earth Giant, Doom Caliber Knight, Manju, obviously for the for the Masked Beast, King of Armageddon plays. Dark Gaia, Evil Hero Dark Gaia was the name, and then of course, you also had as well several other decks as well. You had Fiend Fusion, basically just using up just a few fusions, a bunch of synchros and whatnot. So there was even also Light Swarm was still around. Vayu Turbo, which used up Blackwing Vayu, the Emblem of Honor, using its effect to just banish itself and another monster to summon one card in particular, that being Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant. But you're probably wondering, oh, and also too, I'm actually looking online for some of the decks out there. Diva Hero, which was basically DC Diva with some of the Elemental heroes, the all of the Destiny heroes and whatnot. Which is kind of funny because Absolute Zero, I believe Absolute Zero was a jump promo, if I remember correctly, so it made sense. Black Wings was still pretty viable, even though Gale went to 1, Black Whirlwind went to 2, and not only that, but Compulse, I believe, went down to 1 at that time as well. But what do all these different decks have in common? What is the one thing that they all have in common? It's the fact that they were running one card in particular that came out of Hidden Arsenal 1. What was that card? None other than Bryonic, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. A very powerful card that literally took over the meta for quite a while until I believe it got banned and it got an errata. So if you don't know anything about this set, Hidden Arsenal 1 featured Ice Barriers, Mist Valley, Flamvel, X-Saber, Allied Justice, and Worms. And it even also featured as well it also featured world premiere cards such as Wrath of Neos, Detonate, Berserker Crush, and Evolution Burst. All of which would be used for a specific archetype. Obviously, Wrath of Neos, heroes, Elemental Hero Neos. Detonate, obviously for Karibo. Berserker Crush, I think was also for Karibo, and Evolution Burst was basically for Cyber Dragons. This was a very unique set because Hidden Arsenal 1 was released in North America. Why is my desk? Sorry guys, my desk moved. The release date of Hidden Arsenal 1, as far as the North American release, it was released on November 10th, 2009. The Euro version was released on November 5th, 2009, as was the French, German, Italian, and Spanish. The Korean version was released on May 25th, 2010. As far as the Spanish, which I believe was the Latin version, was released also on November 10th as well. So right around the time that the English set was released as well. This set was basically the introduction to Edison Format. And as I said before, Edison Format became so iconic. It appeared during the weekend of SJC Edison on the weekend of April 24th, which, again, there were so many different decks back then that were so viable back then. Obviously, you had Black Wings, Lightsworn, you had Quick Draw Dandy Warrior, which would use cards like Dandelion, Quick Draw Synchron, and so many other like warrior type synchro monsters. It was just absolutely insane. And then right after Edison Format came out, we ended up getting the March 2010 ban list, which I'm actually going to look that, which I believe a lot of cards from Edison Format got banned. If my memory serves right, if I remember correctly, I believe Black Whirlwind got limited to 1. There were so many cards, but the one person that actually won that tournament was Jeff Jones, who was running Quick Draw Dandy Warrior, which I'm actually going to look that up. Let me look up the guy's deck. Jeff Jones. Quick Draw. Dandy Warrior. Here we are. I'm actually looking it up online right now, so I apologize. Let's see. Alright, so here we are. We have Jeff Jones and his Quick Draw Dandy Warrior, which got first place, actually. The deck you had... This was his list. It used 2 Caius the Shadow Monarch, 1 Card Trooper, 2 Dandelion, obviously for the token plays. For the token plays of going into your synchro plays, of course. 2 Debris Dragon, 1 Lion Darkest Dragon, double copies of Lone Fire Blossom, 1 excuse me, 1 Morphing Jar, 1 Flash Assailant, 2 Quick Draw Synchron, 3 Raikou, which was Raikou Lightsworn Beast, sorry. 1 Sangan, double Nimble, Super Nimble Mega Hamster, and Talia, Princess of Cherry Blossoms, I believe is the name, for the monster lineup for the spells. There were only 9 spells: 2 Book of Moon, 1 Brain Control, 1 Fool's Burial, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 MST, and triple Pot of Avarice. For the traps, he was running double Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Call of the Haunted, double Dimensional Prison, double Dust Tornado, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Starlight Road, and 1 Torrential Tribute. For the side deck, he had 2 Concentrated Light, 2 DD Crow for the monster lineup. For the spells, he had double My Body as a shield, double System Down. I believe that is a Mercy Call? Let me take a look at that card. Let's get a better look at it. Let's get a better look at the card. Yeah, so, yeah, 2 Gothams, a Mercy Call, 2 Pulling the Rug, 2 Swallow Flip, and then 1 normal Trap Hole. For the extra deck, he had 1 Chimera Fortress Dragon, 1 Allied Justice Catastor, 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Bryonic, as I mentioned, 1 Drill Warrior, 2 Drill Warrior, 2 Iron Chain Dragon, 1 Junk Archer, 1 Nitro Warrior, 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, 2 Stardust Dragon, and 1 Turbo Warrior. So that was his deck. Honestly, this actually won SJC Edison, and if my memory serves correctly, he was being interviewed, actually. He was being interviewed, and if my memory serves right, he he talked about why this deck got him to win. I don't remember what happened. Honestly, I don't remember much of what happened. Because I wasn't really a part of Edison Format at that time, because I had given up the game physically, like as in physically playing Yu-Gi-Oh. But I just kept learning mentally, So I do remember a little bit, but not a whole lot. But this one, I don't remember much about Jeff Jones' deck, but. Basically, with this deck, it was the sole purpose was basically just to summon out Brionic. So summon out Brionic, summon out his warrior synchro monsters, and just attack and just go for game, which was basically the case. But Brionic, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, was a very powerful card back then, and if you guys don't know what it did, basically now it has the errata where it says you can discard any number of cards to the grave and target the same number of cards your opponent controls, or return those cards to the hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. The funny thing is that back then, it was not a once per turn. It was not a once per turn. You could use the effect over and over and over again, and it wouldn't matter. That was the pre-errata. The errata version is obviously now the fact that you actually have to use it as a once per turn type of deal, but I'm actually going to go through the cards that were in Hidden Arsenal 1, going in numerical order, and there were only 30 cards in the set, which made this one of the shortest sets in our game's history. So going in numerical order, we have Blizz, Defender of the Ice Barrier, Blizzard Warrior, Cryomancer of the Ice Barrier, Mist Valley Thunderbird, Mist Valley Shaman, Mist Valley Soldier, Flamvell Dragonoff, Flamvell Magician, Flamvell Guard, X-Saber Axel, X-Saber Airbellum, X-Saber Aruz, Commander Gotham Swordmaster, Allied Justice Colossalus, Allied Justice Garadhulk. I believe I probably just butchered that name. Allied Justice Rudra, Worm Apocalypse, Worm Barsis, Worm Dimikils. Again, that's another one I probably butchered. Worm Orokin, Brionic, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Mistworm, which was a very powerful card back in the day. Flamvell Urukizas, X-Saber Urbellum, Allied Justice Catastor, Wrath of Neos, Detonate, Berserker Crush, and Evolution Burst. So you're probably wondering, why didn't people use Mistworm? Cards like Mistworm or anything like that. Well, Mistworm was a very intriguing card. It was a very intriguing card. And a lot of people they weren't really into cards like Mistworm back in the day, because it says if this card is synchro summon, target up to 3 cards your opponent controls, return those targets to the hand. So they didn't know what that meant back in the day, but over time they realized it's a triple compulse. It's a triple compulsory evacuation device in one card, basically. And as far as Brionic, I believe the pre-errata was that it was not a once per turn. It was not a once per turn. I actually want to see about something really quickly. Okay, yeah, I thought so. So the original effect was you could discard any number of cards from your hand to return the same number of cards from the field to the hand. That was the original effect. Again, not a once per turn. the first errata said you can discard any number of cards to the graveyard to return the same number of cards from the field to the hand. And then the current errata again basically says you can discard any number of cards to the grave. It was basically a once per turn, basically if you guys didn't know. That was the second errata. The third errata, it got what? How many erratas? 5 erratas. Where now where now it's a once per turn. It's not even that good anymore. It's not even that good in today's standards. But yeah, Mistborn was actually really broken back then because it was a triple compulsory evacuation device. But many people didn't know how good it was. And when you look at it, and when you look at Hidden Arsenal 1, again, this was one of the introductions to Edison Format, which was very unique because as I said, there were so many different decks that came out during Edison Format, but all those decks were only running one card from Hidden Arsenal 1, and that being Brianna, because you could just pop cards from your opponent's field back into the hand, and because they would, you know, spam their board with a bunch of synchro monsters easily, they would just go back into the extra deck, and it would take your opponents forever to literally get that board back. So they would have no choice but to scoop, and that was what gave that's I guess in my opinion, I guess that's what inspired guys like Jeff Jones to run Brianna, Dragon the Ice Barrier, because it had that effect where you could just pop cards, put them back into their extra deck, and they would have no choice and his opponents would have no choice but to scoop. However, we do know that Edison Format only lasted until I don't think it lasted long. Actually, I think it only lasted like several months. But truth be told, there were several other decks that especially in the top 4. Especially in the top 4, that was a part of Edison Format, SGC Edison. We not only did we have Jeff Jones's deck, we also had Ronaldo Lainez. I probably just butchered his name. Doom Caliber Gadget, which would utilize Green Gadget, Red Gadget, and Yellow Gadget with Doom Caliber Knight, and adding cards like Tragoedia, Gores, and Cyber Dragon. Crazy enough. He was running, I believe, yeah, he was running, oh, for a second, I thought it was a full 60, but it's actually 40. Running cards like Triple Fisher, Double Hammer Shot, Triple Smash and Growl, Double Royal Oppression. His side deck was absolutely nuts because he would run cards like, cards like Creature Swap, Thunder King Ryo, and so many more. Extra deck would have Brionic and just so many incredible cards from, in there. And third place, I believe, who got, I don't remember. Oh, okay. So we have Billy Breaks Synchro Cat as well, which basically would utilize Rescue Cat. Not from Hidden Arsenal. It was never a Hidden Arsenal. I believe it was in Soul of the Duelist, if I remember correctly. But again, as always, it was running Brionic. Now as far as who got fourth, you guessed it, Sarosh Sabirian. I probably butchered his name. Big shout out, but he also was running Quick Draw Dandy Warrior, but his build was different because his build would use Cyber Valley in the main and Mobius the Frost Monarch in the side, which was kind of interesting with triple Stardust Dragon. So yeah, so again, so many different decks in that format, which again, only one card hit Brionic Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Obviously, over time, a lot of these cards did get some play, but not all of them. I think out of all these cards, the only cards that did get play, as far as like Warrior, as far as like water-based decks and whatnot, Blizzard Warrior, Mist Valley Thunderbird, X-Saber Airbellum, would also be useful, especially with X-Saber decks and just a bunch of like tuner-based, spam decks, and only a few others also got used as well. With Cyber Dragon decks, Evolution Burst became pretty viable once we got the structure deck that came out in 2012, if I remember correctly. But Evolution Burst says, if you control Cyber Dragon, target a card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Cyber Dragon cannot attack the turn you activate this card. So that Cyber Dragon in particular cannot attack, but you don't want to use that Cyber Dragon to attack. You want to use it to fusion summon. So obviously you would go into the fusion play. So yeah, it was kind of an interesting card, but yeah, this set was kind of unique. It was again, as I said, it was the introduction to Edison Format, and Edison Format only lasted several months. And once we got to like 2010, right around the middle of 2010, if I remember right, that was when Edison Format just kind of dying down. Once we get to Hidden Arsenal 2 in next week's episode, I will definitely talk about that and talk about the format, talk about that format as well. But that brings me to the question of the day: what deck were you playing during Edison Format? Let me know in the comments below. And that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, which gets posted every Friday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links way down in the description below. And if you guys have a fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open it up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.